بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وعلى من تبع هداه إلى يوم الدين. All praise is due to Allah. Praise Him, seek His aid and ask His forgiveness. We seek refuge in Allah from the evils of ourselves and from the evils of our actions. Whomsoever Allah guides, none can lead astray. And whomsoever Allah leads astray, none can guide. I bear witness that there is none worthy of worship except for Allah alone, I be no partner, and I bear witness that Muhammad is a slave and His messenger. To proceed, very the best of talks, beyond any doubt, is the Book of Allah, and the best of guidance is the guidance of His messenger Muhammad. May peace and blessings be upon him. Tonight, inshallah, we will be doing two things. Number one, which is the story of Salih alayhi salam. And the second issue is a more of shedding light regarding the person who was being sent from the people of Ad. And that was the last week story, because I had more interpretation, because some of the books actually they would had misinterpretations in terms of even the sprints, and because of that resulted in we need to change some of that story that we had mentioned, and we're going to inshallah point that out. Coming to the Prophet Salih alayhi salam. Now I've got different book here next to me. He says that it is most of you have got the same book. What I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be just translating myself, and I will say to you, are you following? So if you're not following, that means there's something more being added from here, and we have to make sure that we point everything out in the Qasas al-Anbiya for Ibn Kathir, whether it's authentic or not, because if you come to the original book, which is the Arabic, some students want to know, is this authentic or is it not? Now, when we come to the book of Ibn Kathir, it starts by lumping all the ayat that talks about the Prophet. For example, Hud, Salih, each Prophet will give all the ayat that talks about it. Now, in your book, it doesn't say that. It doesn't matter, because the author, he puts all these ayat, and then later on, he makes a story and he quotes from those ayat that he had put at the beginning. So, Salih alayhi salam, definitely he comes after Prophet Hud and Prophet Nuh and Prophet Adam alayhi salam. And Salih alayhi salam, just like we said about Hud, the hadith that regarding from the Arabs, from the prophets, that hadith is unauthentic. But because Thamud is well known to be Arabs, then the Prophet has to be sent with the tongue of the people. That means is what? So Salih alayhi salam, just like Hud, they were what? Arabs. And we said they are from the Arabs, and the Arabs are of two types, Arab and Arab Musta'rib. The Arab al-Ariba, the ones who are two types, one of them still staying, like Qahtan, and some of them had gone like the people of Ad and the people of Thamud. And the Arab al-Musta'riba are the ones who descends from the Prophet Ismail alayhi salam. He had gained the Arabic language when he married a woman from Jurhum, and then that's how our Prophet Muhammad he comes from the lineage of Ismail alayhi salam, the Arab al-Musta'riba. Salih alayhi salam was mentioned in the Quran 9 times. And that was not in the Ibn Kathir. I'm adding these things before we start with the book. And Salih alayhi salam people are called Thamud. They're mentioned in the Quran 24 times. And Thamud are from the word in Arabic, that little water. That's why it's called Thamud. And they live in the Hijr. And that is inshallah going to be discussed in the book. But in the Hijr, which is between Tabuk and Hijaz, in the north of Medina, about 240 miles above Medina. So if you went to Medina through the line from the top towards Mecca, from Tabuk towards Medina, you will be passing by the place called al-Hijr. Now, Mada'in Salih, this one, we have a dispute. Is it the Madan, the Prophet Salih alayhi salam that we're talking about, or is the Mada'in of a different Salih that came recently, just before the time of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam? Which one we're talking about? Allahu A'lam, it is not the Mada'in Salih of the Prophet that is the one at the moment. It is the Mada'in of Salih, which is different, which is not the Prophet Salih alayhi salam. Let's start with the book. Says Salih, he was from the Arab al-Ariba, used to live in al-Hijr, between Hijaz and Tabuk. Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he passed by that place when he went to Tabuk to fight the Romans. They are the people who had replaced the people of Ad, and they were also worshippers of idols. So Ad, the people of Hud, they were gone, and then came after them the people of Thamud, whom also had worshipped the idols. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent them a prophet or a messenger called Salih. Do you have that? A prophet called Salih. Are you following me with that?
So far, yes.
Yes. Can you just read from there? Could you see that you're following me or not?
Bismillah, salatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah.
Yeah.
They were Arabs who lived between Hijaz and Tabuk. The Prophet ﷺ passed by this place when he went with the Muslims to Tabuk. They lived after the people.
Is that Hijaz? It's at Hijaz. Hijaz. Is that Hijaz, he says?
Sorry, Hijaz.
Yeah, we'll have to prepare properly. Yeah, go on.
The Prophet passed by this place when he went with the Muslims to Tabuk.
Mm-hmm.
They lived after the people of Ad and worshipped idols as Ad did.
Correct. Go ahead.
Allah sent among them a man from among themselves as his messenger. He was Salih bin Ubaid bin Masih bin Ubaid bin Hadir bin Thamud bin Athir bin Iram bin Nuh.
Can I just ask, is it the fan, Sheikh? Yeah. Can I have it, please? Okay, these lights are too reading as well, even though they are LED. But there's heat. No. No, because you're going to make everybody cold, you see. I'm a different person. Just bring me a fan and then everybody's okay, because everybody's got to hear a jacket. I'm a person, I know that I'm different.
No problem, we'll bring you the fan.
So, are you hot? Oh, alhamdulillah, I got somebody like me. I'm not an alien. Right. Can I just ask the brothers as well, if you have gaps, fill it up, except for also got a back problem, no problem. You want to sit on the chair? I don't mind. Like, this really heavy. No. Problem.
He called them to worship one God and not to associate any partner with him, and to shun all their idols and their false worship. A group went along with his call and believed in him, while the majority rejected him. They tried to discredit him and slander him, and they even tried to kill him. They killed the She-Camel, which Allah sent to them as evidence to the truth of Salih's mission. Allah punished them severely and destroyed them.
Correct. Okay, hang on a second now. Right, so we understand now, just like the people of Hud alayhi salam, there are a few people who believed in him, and those people, they did not have the punishment that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent to the people of Ad or to the people of Thamud. So the same thing had happened with the Prophet of Salih, that few people had believed him. Now, remember, in all the scenarios of all the prophets, the ones who follow the prophets are the weak ones. And the ones who do not follow the prophets and disbelieve in him are the ones who are the rich and the ones who are senior people, al-mala'. Okay? Those are the ones who normally like to be followed. Do you understand me? They don't like to follow. Because they are chiefs and leaders. So they are being made all the time to be followed. So how can they, change and then to follow someone? That's why they always reject the da'wah, except for very, very few of them. Fine. Now we're coming now to saying which is that the people of the book didn't know about the news of Ad and Thamud. No, just stay there, don't flip pages. For verily, yes, in the Torah and the Injil, we don't find the mentioning of Ad and Thamud, the word Ad and Thamud, because they were from the Arabs anyway, and that's why they were not really looked at carefully. But when we look at what Musa alayhi salam had said to his people, we could see that actually he spoke about them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said in Surah Ibrahim, verse 8 and 9, وَقَالَ مُوسَى, and Musa alayhi salam, he said to his people, إِن تَكْفُرُوا أَنْتُمْ وَمَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ جَمِيعًا فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَغَنِيٌّ حَمِيدٌ. If you disbelieve, you and the ones who are on the earth, for verily Allah is the self-sufficient, all praiseworthy. أَلَمْ يَأْتِكُمْ نَبَأُ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ قَوْمِ عَادٍ as قَوْمِ نُوحٍ وَعَادٍ وَثَمُودٍ. Didn't the news of those people before you come to you from the people of Nuh? So he mentioned them. And the people of Ad, he mentioned them. And the people of Thamud, وَالَّذِينَ مِنْ بَعْدِهِمْ, and also the ones who are after them. لَا يَعْلَمُهُمْ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. Nobody knows them except for Allah. جَاءَتْهُمْ رُسُلُهُمْ بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ. Their prophets came to them with the proofs. So, according to our Quran, that Prophet Musa alayhi salam told them about it, but their books, which they are in their hands at the moment, it doesn't talk about them. It doesn't talk about the word Thamud or people of Ad. It talks about pharaohs. But Ad and Thamud, they don't mention them. But as I said, there is as well, we're going to see that there are Israeli narrations being encrypted into the tafsirs are regarding, for example, the people of Ad and the people of Thamud. So there is somehow, without them mentioning the word Ad and Thamud, but there is some narrations related to the Prophet Salih and the Prophet Hud alayhi salam. Now, Salih alayhi salam, he called his people to the deen and the Islam, and basically they rejected him, and they've asked him for, that's the general story, for a miracle. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala produced that miracle for them, and then they disbelieved in that miracle. They killed the she-camel, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent them the punishment. Right, so let's just go and start with the last thing that you have read, so I could really match up with you where you are. Yeah, read that verse. Read that translation of that verse. Yes.
And to Thamud we sent their brother Salih. He said, O my people, worship Allah. You have no God other than Him. There has now come to you a clear sign from your Lord. This is Allah's She-Camel, a sign for you. So leave her alone to graze on Allah's earth, and do not harm her, lest a painful chastisement should seize you. And remember when He made you successful after Ad, and established you in the land, and enabled you to make castles of its plains, and to hew out houses from its mountains. So remember Allah's bounties, and do not work mischief in the earth.
The second verse.
The chiefs of those who behaved arrogantly among His people said to those who were considered...
Okay, so actually in your book is different from the book of Irfan. So it actually gives all the verses. So it's all the verses here. So I'm going to flick to page, according to this book, brothers, as the book is different from the book of Irfan. So we're going to go to the story where it starts. Let me see what mood after that. Right. The context is clear. You see that from there? Okay, so from 117, that's where all the verses is finished. You understand me? And that's when the story finished. Can you just read from there so I could just match up? Maybe it's everything here. Maybe this book talks about everything. I don't know. Let's see.
The context is clear that Moses spoke to his people and cited to them the stories of Ad and Thamud. However, as these two peoples were from the Arab origin, their stories are not accurately recorded by the people of the book. Neither did they pay any attention towards preserving such stories. Indeed, they were known in the time of Moses. Now we will mention their story and what consequences they bore when they rejected the truth, how Allah rescued Saleh and those who believed with him, and how he destroyed those who believed Saleh and refused to follow the divine truth. We have already said that Thamud were people of the Arab origin who came after Ad, and they did not take any lessons from their predecessors' story. Their prophet Salih told them, "Worship Allah, you have no God other than Him. There has now come to you a clear sign from your Lord. This is Allah's She-Camel, a sign for you, so leave her alone to graze on the Allah's earth and do not harm her, lest a painful chastisement should seize you. And remember when He made you successors after Ad and established you in the land and enabled you to make castles on its plains and to hew out houses from its mountains. So remember Allah's bounties and do not work mischief in the earth."
Continue.
Salih said to them, "Allah made you successors after Ad, so that you may not follow their path and act righteously. He has facilitated for you to build palaces and castles on the plains of this earth, and you the hew houses out of the mountains with great skills. You are skilled in your profession with precision and mastery, so you should be grateful to Allah and act according to His guidance and worship only Him without associating any partners with Him. You should not go the way Ad went to, because it bore severe consequences. This is why He admonished them. Do you think you will be left secure here in gardens and fountains, in plantations and date groves with fine spades?"
Okay, so translation of some of the verses. Okay. If you don't mind, inshallah, from now on, I'll be reading the translation, and you have to do your bits of homework reading the books, because we got different books here, and I could see here as well there's missing something there. So I have to read the translation with all due respect, okay? So I'm going to be resigning you. I'm going to do my own everything, inshallah. Right. For verily, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His book, He will normally mentions Ad and Thamud in so many surahs. Always Ad and then Thamud. Ad and Thamud. Ad, Thamud. كذبت عاد وثمود. عاد وثمود. So in Surah Bara'ah, Surah Ibrahim, Surah Al-Furqan, Surah Sad, Surah Qaf, Surah Al-Najm, Surah Al-Fajr, will mention Ad are linked to Thamud. So their story and what happened to them, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved Prophet Salih alayhi salam and the ones who believed with him. So there are some people who believed with him, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had saved those people, and at the same time He had destroyed the ones who did not believe in Him, and how they have disobeyed the Prophet alayhi salam. Right, now Allah's messenger, like all the prophets before him, he was a Rasul, by the way, a messenger. He had called them to the worship of Allah Azza wa Jal. Worship Allah, there is no God worthy of worship except for Him. And then He reminded them of what Allah had given them as a bounty. From, for example, He gave you the land after the people of Ad. You remember Ad, they used to have big, massive tents with pig poles, and then after that they left those things and they went up into the mountains and started building something there which they are not in need of. Those people, they used to take their palaces as well on the top, on those mountains, on the top. So He's reminding them of those Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessings upon them and His bounty upon them. And He said that He made it to be those successes after the people of Ad. And the people of Ad's story was known to you. What happened to them? So Allah had submitted and subjugated this earth to you so you could build on it. And you could even carve from the mountain, from the rocks, really luxury houses, palaces. What do? You, instead of expressing gratitude and thankfulness to Allah Azza wa Jal, you deny Him and you worship the idols and the statues. So He warned them, you should be obeying Allah Azza wa Jal. And then He warned them that the consequences of what you're doing is going to be similar to the consequences that took place to the people of Ad. So He said to them, how can you be left like this in such luxury and you're not expressing gratitude? without punishment. How? So you have to be careful. You have to be knowing that what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had done to the people of Nuh and the people of Ad. Ya qawm, u'budullah, ma lakum min ilahin ghayr. This is all what the prophets used to say. O people, slaves of Allah, worship Allah, there is no God except for Him. فَاسْتَغْفِرُوهُ ثُمَّ تُوبُوا إِلَيْهِ. That is, seek His forgiveness and repent to Him. They said to him, Ya Salih, O Salih, قَدْ كُنْتَ فِينَا مَرْجُوًّا قَبْلَ هَذَا. You were a person who used to reckon you as to be the common sense. A person can think. And what are you doing to us? You're calling us to go and leave the worship of our fathers. Our fathers used to worship this. And to drift away from the deen of our fathers. This is all the time the shubha, the doubt, that the shaitan lies into the hearts of these people. How can I leave something that my fathers, they used to worship, so my fathers, they must be wrong if I worship something else. If I go and worship something else, then I'm condemning all my ancestors and my lineage. All of them, they were not good. And they said, how can they be incorrect and we're going to be correct? So, أَتَنْهَانَا أَن نَعْبُدَ مَا يَعْبُدُ آبَاؤُنَا. Are you telling us off not to worship what our fathers to worship? وَإِنَّنَا لَفِي شَكٍّ مِّمَّا تَدْعُونَا إِلَيْهِ مُرِيبٍ. And verily we are in doubt of what you are calling us to. Ya qawm, he said, that's Prophet Salih alayhi salam, أَرَأَيْتُمْ إِن كُنْتُ عَلَى بَيِّنَةٍ مِّن رَبِّي. Same thing what he said to his people. Do you see that if I'm upon clear cut from my Lord, وَآتَانِي مِنْ رَحْمَةٍ, and also had given me from Him mercy. فَمَنْ يَنْصُرُنِي مِنَ اللَّهِ إِنْ عَصَيْتُهُ. If Allah Azza wa Jal, I disobeyed Him, who's gonna give me help? So you're not gonna increase me except that takhsir. That means you, takhsir, not for himself, for Salih, but for you, the people of Thamud. You're gonna get more. You are in loss. You're gonna get more loss if you don't listen to me. You are in loss at the moment, but if you don't listen to me, you're in a greater loss. So he is actually calling them in a very nice way. So if I'm gonna, he said, basically he's saying to them, who is gonna be helping you if I'm not gonna help you? Who is gonna tell you what is the haqq if I don't tell you the haqq? Because he's the messenger of Allah, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had revealed to him. So I'm gonna keep calling you to Allah until Allah Azza wa Jal will judge between me and you. So I will call you to Allah Azza wa Jal, I will call you to monotheism. So they said to him, إِنَّمَا أَنْتَ مِنَ الْمُسَحَّرِينَ. Verily you are from the ones who are being under the spell, under the magic. You don't know what you are saying in your supplications. You're not saying, you know what you're saying when you're calling us to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is what the scholars had said regarding the word al-Musahharin, meaning that is the ones who are under the possession of the magic, not al-Musahharin, that means from the people. Because they said to him, yeah, we believe that you are just a human being, subhanallah. They worship idols as a god, but they expect the messenger of their idol is to be not a human being. That's nonsense. So they've asked him for a sign, for a miracle. Give us a miracle. It's always like this, give us a miracle. Now, in our book and in our sunnah, the only miracle that we have for Salih is an-naqa, the she-camel. Now, there could be other miracles, because Allah talks about the prophets. We're giving them bayinat, we give them ayat, signs and miracles. But the one which is the major one is the she-camel. Now, we don't have any details in the Quran or the Sunnah regarding how the she-camel was born. How does she look like? What does she do? Only we know that she being a miracle, and they have acknowledged that. And Allah would ask for that miracle to be treated the way that He wants it to be treated, in such a way that that she-camel is going to go to the well where the whole village drinks from that well. That she will have one day for herself, that she-camel. Nobody is to have any water except for her. And then the other days is for them. So it has a day set for her. That's what we know. Now, definitely, if we look at how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's universal law regarding those people who had belied his miracles and how Allah Azza wa Jalla destroyed them, we could see clearly that that miracle came according to what they want. So it's not like, give us a miracle. He said, no, give us X, Z, Y miracle in such an X, Y, Z details. Do you understand that? Because the people of Quraysh, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent them lots of miracles in the hands of the Prophet Muhammad. One of them is the greatest of all miracles, which is after the Quran, the moon. But they didn't ask for the moon. They asked him for a miracle. He said, look, and he pointed to the moon, and the moon was split into two halves. Half on this side and half on that side. They could see. So he said, look, that's a miracle. But they did not ask for a moon to be split. But when they've asked him for a specific miracle, to turn the two statues, Isaf and Na'ila, which is in the Kaaba, into gold. So he said, if I do that, would you believe? He said, yes. So he's called upon Allah Azza wa Jalla to turn Isaf and Na'ila into gold, because this is a miracle according to what they want. Jibreel alayhi salam sent down onto the Prophet. Says, your Lord says to you, if he changes it to what they want, into gold, and they don't believe in it, Allah will kill all of them. And that's what happened to the people of Ad, the people of Thamud. So when they ask for a specific miracle, and they don't believe in it, then Allah will kill all of them. So what do you want? I mean, should we go ahead? Make Allah Azza wa Jalla to make that miracle? So he said, no. Prophet said, no. Because he knows his people. Even if he changes that to gold statues, for verily, they will say it's magic. Or some of them will say it's magic. So Allah will kill all of them. That is why he said, no, leave them as they are. So this she-camel will know definitely that it is like according to what they've asked. They've asked this she-camel to be a specific way, in a specific color, and also that she does, for example, something which is supernatural, like we know from the tafsir. This is where the Israeliyat stories comes into it, that the she-camel used to, for example, produce milk for the whole of the village. Okay, Allahu A'lam, it could be true, could be not. And this is hadithu an bani Israel wala haraj. It doesn't really contradict what the miracle, the she-camel. So yes, no problem. Okay, but the she-camel that is to talk like a human being, we don't have that. Because yes, there are animals who will be talking like a human being, but that she-camel did not have that as in be documented. She-camel, it is a great she-camel. In the tafsir you're going to read, that is on the rock, Prophet of Allah, Salih, al-Salam, he had called Allah, he made a prayer, and from that rock, that she-camel came out. That's what you're going to find in the tafsir, but we don't have anything to support that from the Quran or the Sunnah. Yes, it could be true, could not be true, Allahu A'lam. But it is a miracle that the she-camel came out. Right, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says in the Quran, هذه ناقة لها شرب. This is a she-camel, it has one day to drink from the well. ولكم شرب يوم معلوم, and you got another day to drink from the well. ولا تمسوها بسوء فيأخذكم عذاب عظيم. فيأخذكم عذاب عظيم أو فيأخذكم عذاب عظيم. Do not touch it with harm, for verily Allah will put a severe torment upon you. So after this, Allah's Messenger Salih, he said, قَدْ جَاءَتْكُمْ بَيِّنَةٌ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ. Now you got a miracle from your Lord. هَذِهِ نَاقَةُ اللَّهِ. This is the she-camel of Allah. She-camel of Allah means, it is not Allah, he needs a she-camel. No. This is like Baytullah, the house of Allah. It's mean attributing the house to Allah to honor it. He attributing the she-camel to Allah to honor it. So, ناقة الله آية. This is for you as a miracle. فذروها تأكل في أرض الله ولا تمسوها بسوء فيأخذكم عذاب أليم. So let it graze in the land of Allah. Do not touch it with harm. Otherwise, a severe torment will be onto you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also, He had said, وَآتَيْنَا ثَمُودَ النَّاقَةَ مُبْصِرَةً فَظَلَمُوا بِهَا. Allah, I said, we have given you, the people of Thamud, النَّاقَة, the she-camel. Okay? Now, the people of Salih didn't like that. So, they got together in that club, and Prophet Salih alayhi salam came to them, and he reminded them, warned them, admonished them regarding this, and to be careful not to really do anything apart from that. And by the way, in the book of Ibn Kathir, it mentions there the thing that I have mentioned before, which is that they want the she-camel is to be like, is pregnant, and its description is to be such and such. All of this, as I said, it is being mentioned, but we don't have a proof for that. Right. They saw the she-camel. Okay. They saw how great it is, and they've been warned not to touch the she-camel. Now, you got in your book in Ibn Kathir, I don't know if you got that one in translation, also some names then, like Jundu', or for example, Rabab. All of those, these are not authentic whatsoever. So, all of that stories regarding some names they mentioned, this is to do with the 9 people who had plotted against Salih alayhi salam. All of that, it has no authentication that we could really trace it. But we could go to the authentic, which is enough for us, inshallah. It was said that they used to drink from the milk, there enough as well from their milk, and I'm repeating this as well because Ibn Kathir is saying it because he says لَكُمْ شِرْبٌ وَلَكُمْ لَهَا شِرْبٌ وَلَكُمْ شِرْبُ يَوْمٍ مَعْلُومٍ. So on the day where they need water, he's saying basically they need to have a substitute, and the substitute was the milk of the she-camel. So it was enough milk in the she-camel to give the whole of that village. Okay, right. Now they are plotting to kill the she-camel. They have got together in the club, and they decided, even though Prophet Salih warned them, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke about this, فَعَقَرُوا النَّاقَةَ وَعَتَوْا عَنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّهِمْ. They have killed the she-camel, and they have drifted away from the command of the Lord. وَقَالُوا يَا صَالِحْ إِيتِنَا بِمَا تَعِدُنَا. Come, O Salih, bring us what you have promised us from the punishment. إِن كُنْتَ مِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ, if you are a true messenger. And the one who had actually plotted all of that is being mentioned in a hadith. His name is Qudar ibn Salih. Okay, as being mentioned here, he was the son of a fornicator. Allahu A'lam, doesn't be mentioned in a hadith, so we don't know. But he is a person who's known to be a chief amongst them, and he is to be listened to. So to say that he's a son of a fornicator, Allahu A'lam, but it doesn't really synchronize with his position as a senior person. So, and also there's a mentioning of 2 women called Saduq and other one, that is as well, and Unayza, that is not authentic. I don't know if you have that one. Somebody had read the story in your book. Please put your finger up if you had, for example, heard these names, Unayza or Saduq. If you haven't, maybe that book did not really translate it. Right, now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about their plot, number 1, to kill the she-camel, and also number 2, to kill Salih alayhi salam. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَكَانَ فِي الْمَدِينَةِ تِسْعَةُ رَهْطٍ يُفْسِدُونَ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَلَا يُصْلِحُونَ. And behold, in Medina, Medina Salih, there was 9 people, mentioning the number 9. That means there were 9 people. They were spreading mischief in the land, and they're not doing righteous things. Those are the ones who had set together, okay, they want to do the following, as I said, kill she-camel and kill Prophet Salih alayhi salam. It says here that basically what happened, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says to us, إِذٍ بَعَثَ أَشْقَاهَا, in the ayah when the worst of them had gone to kill it, he said, إِن بَعَثَ لَهَا رَجُلٌ عَارِمٌ عَزِيزٌ مَنِيعٌ فِي رَهْطِهِ. A person who is strong, evil, and protected by his family. مثل أبي زمعة, just like Abu Zam'ah. Abu Zam'ah, who is Abu Zam'ah? Abu Zam'ah is basically the person who is the, you could say the uncle from the cousin side of Az-Zubayr ibn al-Awwam radiallahu anhu. And he had said that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself. So Abu Zam'ah basically is a kafir person. He was the cousin of Al-Awwam, who is the father of Az-Zubayr. This person, he was known to be a person supported by his tribe. So the Prophet ﷺ given an example of that person who had killed the she-camel at the time of Salih alayhi salam is like this person, Abu Zam'ah. So everybody knew who was Abu Zam'ah. So he was this person who is the one who had killed the she-camel. Right. Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam also, he had said, which is in a hadith sahih, أَلَا أُحَدِّثُكَ بِأَشْقَى النَّاسِ, shall I inform you, to Ali ibn Abi Talib, who is the worst of the people? He said, yes. He said, yes, Messenger of Allah. He said, two men, Thamud, the one who is from Thamud, the red man, and he was the one who had killed the she-camel, and the second one is the one who's going to strike you on your qarn, on your head, and this is going to be drenched from the blood. And he pointed to his beard. So Prophet ﷺ already had told Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu ardah that he will be killed by a person. That is why Ali ibn Abi Talib one day when he was paid a visit, they were asking, they said to him, well, we thought that something happened to you. He said, don't worry about me. Nobody's going to kill me except for one whom the Prophet of Allah told me about. So he knows Ali ibn Abi Talib is going to be killed. But he doesn't know when exactly he's going to be killed. And also, he said, they're going to be killed. And there's more detailed hadith from Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu ardah, and that is, he will be killed from both cheeks. So he said he's going to be struck in one cheek and then struck on the following cheek. So he's going to be here and there, as-sudrayn, until the blood will drench his beard. So Ali ibn Abi Talib having the details of how he will be killed, radiyallahu anhu wa ardah. So these are the two worst people, Uhaybiru Thamud, and the one who strikes Ali on his head, or as in the details one in his cheek and the other cheek. طيب. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, فَعَقَرُوا النَّاقَةَ وَعَتَوْا عَنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّهِمْ. Anyway, that also they have challenged Prophet Salih, go on, bring us your punishment that you have promised us. So in their words, they have actually gathered between lots of kufrs. One of them is they have opposed Allah and His Messenger, and by embarking upon what Allah told them not to do, which is not to touch a she-camel. Number two, they have hastened the punishment. They said, go and bring us the punishment of Allah, punishment of your Lord that you have promised us. So that's another issue as well. And the third one is that they have belied the Prophet Salih alayhi salam, and they know for sure that he's a prophet because they've asked for a miracle. Prophet Salih performed that by asking the Almighty subhanahu wa ta'ala. They saw the miracle, yet they have belied him. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as soon as they have killed that she-camel, how they killed it, Allahu a'lam, the details of how they struck with the sword and all of that, we don't have the details of that, but they killed it. فَعَقَرُوهَا عَقْرُ. Well, aqr is like a dagger, you point it to the neck of the camel, and that's how it comes out. Just like when we as well kill the she-camels for sacrificial, we call it aqr. Al-aqr is not that, it's not, we can't really hold the camel down and then start to slaughter it, because the camel is not like a sheep. So we, with a dagger, long one, and it goes like a knife, it goes into the neck of the she-camel, or the camel, and then the camel, after a bit, he will fall down, and then we slaughter him. Okay, so this is the aqr. So the aqr is enough. If he dies through the aqr, the blood comes out. So Qudar ibn Salif, may Allah curse him, is the one, and we say may Allah curse him, because this is what the Prophet said. It has been by Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the Prophet Salih, he said to them, hey, stay in your houses for 3 days. That means live your life for 3 days, and that's it. And after that, you're going to get the punishment. Now, they did not believe him in terms of that sort of threat. Not only that, they want to kill him along with the she-camel. So in the Quran it says, تَقَاسَمُوا بِاللَّهِ لَنُبَيِّتَنَّهُ وَأَهْلَهُ. Let's just go together and plot to kill him and his family. ثُمَّ لَنَقُولَنَّ لِوَلِيِّهِ. Then we're going to see to the ones who are in charge of the blood, his family, مَا شَهِدْنَا مَهْلَكَ أَوْ مَهْلَكَ أَهْلِهِ وَإِنَّا لَصَادِقُونَ. We did not see how his family is being killed, and we are truthful. So they've already planned to lie. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says in the Quran, وَمَكَرُوا مَكْرًا وَمَكَرْنَا مَكْرًا وَهُمْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. They plotted, Allah planned, and they don't know about it. They did not feel it. فَانظُرْ كَيْفَ كَانَ عَاقِبَةُ مَكْرِهِمْ أَنَّا or إِنَّا دَمَّرْنَاهُمْ وَقَوْمَهُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. Both verses is correct. Meaning, look at how the result of their plot, that Allah destroyed all of them with their people. فَتِلْكَ بُيُوتُهُمْ خَاوِيَةً بِمَا ظَلَمُوا. This is how you see the houses are empty because of what they have done from the kufr, the dhulm. إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَةً لِقَوْمٍ يَعْلَمُونَ. Verily, there is an ayah, a sign for those people who are paying heed, people of knowledge. وَأَنْجَيْنَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَكَانُوا يَتَّقُونَ. And those who believed with the Prophet Salih, we have saved them, these believers, we give them salvation, we saved them, وَكَانُوا يَتَّقُونَ, and they were pious people. Allah obviously sent them الصيحة والرجفة. So الصيحة, it's like an awful cry from the sky that took their souls away, died. And the rajfa, which is also the earthquake, and that took place, as I said, after the 3 days. What happened is that those people, when they plotted to kill Salih alayhi salam, they couldn't do so. Allah had sent them something and had killed them. How? Allahu ta'ala a'lam. So anyway, then they started counting the days that the Prophet Salih told them. 3 days now. So when the first day finished, according to the Mufassirin, the interpreters, they start saying, okay, well, 1 day has been now passed from the time it's been given to us. They're like taking the mick, basically. And then the second day passed, and the third day, they are actually as well mentioning there's the day of al-Ahad, which is the last day. Allahu a'lam if that is authentic or not, because we don't have any way to authenticate such stories. That is today's Sabtu al-Ahad, because remember, a number of times the Quran is not a book of history, nor it's a book of places. Okay? Quran is a book of reminders, of things that you need to learn, that's all. So anyway, the third day, that's according to the Quran, the third day happened, that what happened is all these people in their houses, they died. The Quran mentions al-Rajfa, mentions al-Sayha. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had killed all of them. We have now number of ahadith that as well mentioned here. For example, Hadith Jabir, when the Prophet ﷺ passed by the Hijr, he says, لا تسألوا الآيات فقد سألها قوم صالح. Do not ask for the miracles, for verily the people of Salih had asked for them. And that is the She-Camel. And then he said the She-Camel used to come from this side and to go to that side. So the Prophet is pointing to this side, go to that side. So when they have been given that, and we have they as well disobeyed Allah Azza wa Jal by killing the She-Camel, and that he said they used to drink the water one day, and they used to drink from its milk one day. So they have killed it, killed the She-Camel, and Allah Azza wa Jal had given them the Sayha from the heavens, and all of them they were killed except for one man who was in the Haram. His name is Abu Rigal. So why are you saying then that the drinking, that they used to drink from its milk one day and drink one milk? You said it's not really authentic, because this hadith, in terms of authenticity wise, Allahu a'lam. This hadith, our Shaykh al-Albani says it's not authentic, ضعيف. So if we're going to go back to some reference for these ahadith, because it's very important. First of all, Abu Rigal is being mentioned in his story is to be in somehow there is Abu Rigal. But is it the story of Abu Rigal which is that he was in the haram and he was from the kuffar? Haram means the haram area. There was no Kaaba at that time. And that when the punishment came, then this person, he was saved by the haram, and then after he came out, the punishment got him. What his people had got, he got it as well. Let me just discuss this, inshallah. Number one, we say that Abu Rigal is being mentioned in the hadith. I'm going to mention them now, inshallah. Number two, yes, the haram area, which is Mecca, and that area is a place where the Prophet ﷺ had told us that it is a place where it is safe against the Dajjal. And to as well, that any person in the Medina or Mecca, in Mecca or Medina, if they are in there, they are safe. So somebody asks, so if somebody was a hypocrite or a kafir inside Mecca or inside Medina, would he be safe against the Dajjal? Yes, he would be. But before the Dajjal comes close to the Medina and Mecca, there is something that's going to happen, which is ثلاث رجفات, 3 like earthquakes, shaking of the earth, will take place to Mecca and Medina, where this shaking of this called the day of al-Khalas, the purification day, in which the hypocrites and the non-Muslims will be kicked out of Mecca and Medina. So they will be vulnerable to the Dajjal. So in terms of, this is the second issue, that yes, even Abu Rigal is a kafir, a follower of the people of Thamud, he will be safe if he's in the area of al-Haram. Third issue. So is the haram even without Mecca? So before we say that there is a Mecca, there is a Kaaba, there is a haram area. Allah Ta'ala a'lam, because when we come to Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, he took all the way his son, his wife, to where? To that area. And then he was commanded to build what? So it was known like it's a sacred area. Just like in the, as well, we're going to be, when we come to talk about the Afid Ad, the person who's been mentioned by Ad, said by Ad to go and seek rain. It was mentioned in the story, which is not authentic, but it was saying that there's an area there, it's called Haram, the area of the Haram, sacred area. Allahu A'lam. Allahu A'lam. Fourth issue. What is the authentic regarding Abu Rigal? First of all, we have Hadith in Silsila al-Sahiha 2542, where the Prophet ﷺ, he had sent Sa'd ibn Ubadah, and he sent him for sadaqah, and he said to him, Ya Sa'd, O Sa'd, fear Allah on the day of resurrection, that you come with a ba'ir, camel, tahmiluhu, carrying it, lahu rugha. Do you understand me? You could be taking a camel which you did not pay sadaqah. It's got a rugha. Okay? This hadith, our Shaykh al-Albani, he says it's authentic and it's got a support for it. And that support that I'm keen to mention it because I mentioned Abu Rigal. And the Shaykh says it is Hasan. That is, Sa'd ibn Ubadah, the Prophet ﷺ, he sent him. So, Qais ibn Sa'd ibn Ubadah, he said that the Prophet ﷺ sent him as a person to collect the sadaqat. So his father, he said, don't go out until you come to the Prophet ﷺ and give him a covenant. So when he wanted to come out, he came to the Prophet ﷺ. The Messenger of Allah said to him, Ya Qais, O Qais, this is the son of Sa'd ibn Ubadah. Do not come on the day of resurrection and you have on your neck a camel that has got a sound of rugha, or a baqarah has got a sound of khuwar, which is the camel sound, the cow sound, or a shat, which is the sheep, or the sheep that's got the sound of the sheep. And do not be like Abu Rigal. and to not be like Abu Rigal. But Abu Rigal here, a story that he's talking about in there before, is talking about that he was a person in the haram and that he was safe from the punishment, and then after he went out, he got the punishment. So don't like to be Abu Rigal, meaning Abu Rigal here is different from the Abu Rigal that is in the story of Thamud. The reason behind this is Abu Rigal is no good. Abu Rigal, this one, is no good. Abu Rigal, which is a person, is no good. And that was supported as well with another hadith, which is Salim, the son of Abdullah ibn Umar. He said, Ghaylan ibn Salam al-Thaqafi, he had embraced Islam and he had 10 wives because of the Jahiliyyah. So they embraced Islam along with him. So the Prophet ﷺ commanded him to choose 4 of them and divorce the rest. Now what happened? This person, he lived until Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, he was the Khalifa. He had the 4 women. So what he did, he had divorced his 4 wives and he had given the money of his to the children. So he deprived whom? The wives. He deprived them from their inheritance. So Umar al-Khattab, when he had heard about this, that he had divided his money after he divorced his wives, and he gave it to his sons, so he said to him, verily, I think the shaitan maybe stole the hearing from the heavens that had heard your death is coming very soon. So he had whispered in your ears, and that is, you're not going to be staying for a long time. That's what you think. By Allah, either you're going to go and return these wives of yours, and you give them as well the money, and you give the money, take the money back from your children, or otherwise I'm going to give them inheritance from you, and I'm going to command with your graves to be pelted with stones like the grave of Abu Rigal. So Abu Rigal mentioned again, which is Hadith Sahih. This is in At-Tirmidhi, and also it is in Ibn Hibban, which is Abu Rigal now in 2 stories is not a good person. He said, I'm going to command for your grave to be pelted by stones, just like the grave of Abu Rigal was pelted by stones. So either go and return your wives back and return your money, or I'm going to inherit to be inherited, and also your grave to be pelted like the grave of Abu Rigal. So here we have Abu Rigal is different from the Abu Rigal which is mentioned in the hadith, that is the following hadith. The hadith just we mentioned now, Hadith Jabir, the Prophet ﷺ, when he came to the Hijr, he said, don't ask your Prophet for miracles. For those are the people of Salih, they asked the Prophet a miracle, and it was a She-Camel, and he used to come to them from such direction and go to that direction. He pointed to the valley, and they used to drink from its milk one day, and then the following day she will drink from the well. So what they did, because they don't want that to happen, so they wanted to have the whole will for them, and they don't want to be prevented from it, so they killed the She-Camel. So they've been promised 3 days as a warning, and the sayha came to them, which is the awful cry, and he killed all of them except for one man. He was safe into the haram area, and that is Abu Rigal or Abu Thaqif. Sheikh al-Albani says da'if, unauthentic. Okay, Sheikh al-Albani says it is da'if. That is why I said the story of Abu Rigal, we have difference among the scholars of hadith regarding it. Our Sheikh says is da'if, and also insisted on da'ifa. He had mentioned that in number 334. And another hadith which even gives it more why it is as well, maybe it's not sahih, it's got a story in it where Abu Rigal's grave, it's got gold in it. That's the one. Which is Hadith Abdullah ibn Amr. He said, we were the Prophet ﷺ in a journey, we passed onto a grave of Abu Rigal, and he's Abu Thaqif, and he is from the people of Thamud, and his place is in Hira. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had destroyed his people, this person, because he was in Hira, he lives in Hira, which is the area of Haram. So he did not get the same punishment. And when he left the area, he got it. So he said, this is where he died. And along with him, there is a branch of gold. So straight away, we got into the grave and we got the gold out. Shaykh al-Albani says, Da'if, unauthentic. Sister Da'ifa 4736. So after we have, alhamdulillah, clarified the issue regarding Abu Rigal and regarding the branch of gold, which is in his grave, I go back now to our book. You've got the story of Rigal there?
Yes.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. So alhamdulillah, we pointed that out. Jazakallah khair. Play. Now, the Quran here talks about before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, before the punishment took place. He talks now in the book, basically, that Allah's Messenger Salih, he said to them, you don't like the people who advise you, who gives you sincere advice. Okay? You just want to go ahead and receive the punishment. And so Allah says, وَلَكِنْ لَا تُحِبُّونَ النَّاصِحِينَ. Okay? Now, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, exactly the same had happened with him regarding his people. After they were killed, Thamud, they were wiped off, the Prophet Salih, he told, he was talking to them after their death. It's like as a saying, look, you did not really listen to me, and that's what happened to you. So when they have been killed. Prophet Muhammad did the same thing. Basically, when the people of Quraysh, 7 of them, one of them is Abu Jahl, one of them is Umayy ibn Khalaf, they were killed in the Battle of Badr. They were thrown in the well. Prophet of Allah was talking to them while he was dead, after their death. So he said to them, for verily, did you find what Allah promised you? And he's from the punishment and all of that. For verily, we found what Allah promised us from the victory and the Islam and the Deen and the Iman. So Umar al-Khattab, he said, Messenger of Allah, are you talking to people already turned into carrions, into something like dust, and they've been corroded? He said, by the one in whose hand is my soul, you're not able to hear me more than they are, but they can't respond. So they are being able to hear him, even though they were what? They were dead. Allah gave those people somehow something to hear them just momentarily to the Prophet of Allah as a sign of or an increase of rebuke to them and more grief and sorrow. Look, the Prophet of Allah is telling you while they're dead, so they were alive, just to listen to the Prophet of Allah, how he's telling them that did you find what Allah promised you? For verily we found what Allah promised us. Okay, so that is what happened to the Prophet Salih عليه السلام. Now we come into the last bit, which is the Prophet sallallahu passing by the Hijr area when he came to from Thamud, from the day of Thamud, which is the year of Thamud, because there's something that happened there. After he came and he passed by Thamud, the hadith says, Al-Imam Ahmad, which is hadith authentic. Yes, you got it?
Yes.
Read the hadith, please. Just to make me relax.
Narrated by Imam Ahmad. Ahmad has narrated from Abdullah ibn Umar saying, when the Prophet ﷺ came with the people of Tabuk, he camped at he camped at al-Hijr, near to the houses of Thamud. People drank from the same wells from which Thamud used to drink. They kneaded their floors from that water and prepared to cook. The Prophet ﷺ stopped them, so they threw that what was being cooked in their pots and fed kneaded flour to their camels. Then he departed from that place with them till they came to the well from which the She-Camel used to drink. He forbade them to enter those places of people who were punished by Allah, and said, I fear that the same adversity may afflict you which afflicted them, so do not enter their places.
Do you have another hadith as well?
Yes.
What?
Imam Ahmad has also narrated from Abdullah ibn Umar that the Prophet ﷺ said, he was at al-Hijr,
Yes.
He said, do not enter the places of those who are punished except that you are crying. If you could not cry, then you should not enter. The same adversity may afflict you which afflicted them. In another narration it said that the Prophet ﷺ passed by their houses, he masked his face and hastened his camel and prohibited the entry of their houses except the one is crying. There's another narration.
Yeah, all the narration.
In another narration he said, if you could not cry, then pretend that you are crying, fearing that you will be afflicted with that they were afflicted with. Imam Ahmad has narrated from Muhammad bin Abu Kabsha, who narrated from his father, who said, when we went for the battle of Tabuk, people rushed towards the houses of Thamud and entered into them. The news reached the Prophet ﷺ, and so he asked the people to gather in one place. I came to the Prophet ﷺ, and he was holding his camel and saying, you should not enter upon people with whom Allah became angry. A man said, we are only doing it as a wonder. The Prophet ﷺ said, shall I not tell you about something more astonishing than that? It is a man from among yourselves, informing you about those who were before you and what is going to happen after you. So you should be steadfast and righteous. Allah does not give any importance to your punishment, and there will come some people who will not care about their deeds.
Well, the last hadith is unauthentic, according to Sheikh Shu'aib al-Nahud, and the meaning of it is sound, because it's been supported by the hadith before it. So from that hadith, well, first of all, we're going to see that how everything is almost supported by other hadiths. Prophet of Allah, when he was passing through the Hijr, as I said, from Thamud, the people camped there and they started making the food taken from the water, and they have made their baking of so the breads and all of that, and they put even cauldrons and big pots and all of that, so they use the water of that place. And the Prophet ﷺ, he did, as soon as he saw that, he said, as-salatu jam'a. Now this is the one which we say we don't really have a proof, but that's why the unauthenticity as well here. But we know that the Prophet of Allah called them. So they came, and he said, how can you enter on people whom Allah's wrath is upon them? And that's supported in another hadith. The Prophet ﷺ should not enter upon people whom Allah's punishment was upon. And that is why whenever the Messenger of Allah, he used to, for example, when he made the Hajj, and he passed from Muzdalifah to Mina, he said that the Wadi al-Muhassir, the valley of al-Muhassir, this is the valley that you should be crossing it quickly. Why? Because it's the area where the people of the elephant who destroyed the Kaaba were destroyed by the birds of al-Ababil. And also in the truce of al-Hudaybiyah, when the Prophet ﷺ, She-Camel, when they were coming to Mecca, and then they were there to be stopped on the border in al-Hudaybiyah. There was a place there just before they reached al-Hudaybiyah. This is where it is. They had the place where the Habisul Fil, the valley where, as I said, the elephants could not go forward. So the Qaswa itself did not go forward. So the companions were telling him, come on camel, move. And then they said, She-Camel of Qaswa, of the Prophet, became stubborn. Haranat al-Qaswa. So the Prophet said, no, she did not go stubborn. No way it is even from her manners to be stubborn. But what made her to stop is what made the elephants to stop, which is that area where the punishment. So the she-camel, always the camels, by the way, they are not really animals that would reject your commands. So whenever you just take the rope, they will go along with you straight away. They don't really, for example, pull out or pull back like the horses. So he said no, but it was stopped because of that. He does not want to go move forward because of what had happened in that area. So if you and you pass an area where there is a punishment, can I just stop? Please. I'm hot this shit. Somebody's here is different from that. طيب, when we have Barakallahu feekum, when we have the person passing by an area where there is a punishment 100%, then if he knows it, then he cannot go there and stay there. And he cannot as well use the facilities in that area. Prophet of Allah, when he sold them, they making bread and cooking from that water where the punishment took place. He said, drop everything and give whatever the food, give it to your camels, not to yourself. And then he said, do not enter these places except for weeping and crying. Do not go in them as in, like, religious tourism, as they say these days. They're going to make a for tourist area to go and see it. Do not enter it except weeping. Why weeping? That means contemplating of what happened to these people. So he said to them, for verily, why? When they said, are you amazed because of this? So he said, no. Shall I give you more amazing? Which is that a person, which is himself, the Prophet of Allah, telling you about things that is before and things going to take place later on. فَاسْتَقِيمُوا وَسَدِدُوا. Be straight and always get close to the haqq. فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَعْبَأُ بِعَدَالٍ. Allah does not want to punish you. Does not harm you to punish you. Does not really, Allah Azza wa Jal, He is not really keen to punish you. But there are lots of people going to come who will not have an alibi to push away from themselves. So you know you should be people paying heed. You should not be staying in places where Allah's punishment was there. Then Allah Azza wa Jal might strike you with the same punishment. You might ask a question. So how can Allah strike a person who is not a wrong person, who's not a wrongdoer, with a punishment that He struck those people with who they were kuffar? I mean, the Prophet Allah, he said to them, do not stay in these places, pass through them except that you are weeping and crying. Otherwise you might be punished with the same punishment. You get the same punishment of what these people have got. You could ask a question and say, why can they have it even though they are believers? Well, the scholars, they said, when the person stays in a place where there's a punishment and he does not pay heed and learn from it, then he tends to get his heart, the same thing, harder. So the mercy in his heart will be gone, and he will be sort of resembling, or you could say, going closer to those people who are being punished before, and that is why you might get the punishment that those people have got. So in the fear of that, do not pass except fast, and if you want to just pass and look, you just don't stay for a long time. You just want to look, and for crying, to see, look what happened to these people. If we do the same thing, this is going to happen to us. Right? So alhamdulillah, this is the story of the people of Thamud and the Prophet Salih alayhi salam. And we have the ayah of the Quran, وَسَكَنْتُمْ فِي مَسَاكِنِ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا. Allah talks about those people who had lived in those areas, who had been under the punishment of Allah. Look what happened to them, exactly the same. Allah is blaming them. So you should not be living in those areas. You should be just passing by them. Prophet of Allah, when he passed, he put his head down, okay, and he passed, and he also covered his head, and he passed quickly. Okay, he covered his head, and he passed quickly. In the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you'll find that in Sahih Targhib al-Tarhib of the Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah. Number is 3546. He did not stop until he had passed that valley. So he just put his head down and went straight away to pass it. Right? Did you find the story? That's finished there in the book?
It's finished.
Right. And it's in my book as well. It's finished. Alhamdulillah. Right. Do you have any now? After this, I will say inshallah next week we'll be talking about the Wafid Ad, and also we're going to talk about the benefit that we get from the story, because there are a lot of benefits here we're going to learn inshallah. So we're going to pass to that, and we're going to start the following prophet inshallah, Ibrahim alayhi salam. Now, have any questions? Please go ahead. Fadl.
I've been to a valley in Europe where it hit a bomb and there was most likely Jews there. Does the same rule apply to that valley? I don't know if it was Allah's punishment. but can we stay there, visit a museum, walk?
What's the valley? Where is it?
It's in the Czech Republic.
We cannot verify an area of punishment except it's been verified through solid proofs. Like the Prophet when he passed by the Hijr, he said, this is the Hijr of Thamud. Alas, we knew it. As for this, we have lots of places being claimed to be an area of punishment. You know what is the implementation if you claim that area is an area of punishment and you cannot use, as I said, the items, because the Prophet told them to drop off all of everything. One of these areas is the Dead Sea. I'm going to come to that when we come to the people of Luton Islamic. If we establish the fact that the Dead Sea itself is the area of the people of Lut, where the punishment took place in that area, in that Dead Sea, then number one, we cannot use the water of the Dead Sea for wudu. We cannot use the salt of the Dead Sea for our food. We cannot. So lots of things will take place. So we say this is something that ta'ummu bihi al-balwa, the crisis will be touching lots of people. It's like when you're saying HFA is not halal. How many people are eating HFA? Do you understand me? Can't say that word like this. You have to be sure. Same thing here is worse even the Dead Sea. You know that fifth of the world's salt, fifth, comes from the Dead Sea. So now you're going to be reading the ingredients. Salt from what? Dead Sea, I can't pay. Not only that, food which salt has been added to. So that value you're talking about, Allahu Alam, so we don't really, how can I use that? You remind me of another one that I'd document this inshallah with my memory. So we were going to live now somewhere else. Somebody has, this is in front of me happened. When one person was talking about the moon split. So he came up with a question in front of me and was saying, okay, the moon split, do we have narrations that the moon come back together? That's a good one. There's no narration come back together. Is that why we have two Eids, by the way? One moon is there, one moon is there. That's really clever. So that one is like a list as well. Please, Father.
The visiting Egypt to see the pyramids, does this fall under the same criteria?
Pyramids of Egypt. Pyramid of Egypt, the same thing falls into the area. If we know that the area of punishment is, but listen to me. It's not where the people used to live, it's where the punishment took place. Do you understand me? So the Pharaoh's area, the punishment took place the punishment took place in the sea had, got them to be killed, all of them. It's nothing to do where they were living. Okay? So that where the crime took place, for example, the Hud, we know is in the Hijr, in the area. The people of the elephants in that valley, they were punished. But we know Abraha al-Ashram, he was not living in that valley, he was living in Yemen. He came away from it. We're going to say Yemen as well? No. They were living in Yemen, those people coming. So where the punishment took place, that's where it is. Now.
It's off the topic, if that's okay. If a brother is terminally ill with cancer and he's tried causes him a lot of side effects, he's now trying cannabis oil and is finding that very beneficial with the cancer as well as loads of other benefits he's finding. Where does this fit with the Islamic view in this?
Islamic view in terms of what, sorry?
Him using cannabis oil.
Didn't he use before morphine?
So morphine was obviously given to him due to him being a patient in the hospital.
Okay.
And he was.
What's the difference between morphine and?
Or the both are extracted from a plant plant that's
Cocaine.
Opium is from morphine and
It's all in the same family.
yeah.
So what I'm just saying, what was it when he was using morphine?
Yeah.
Now he gone to what? Cannabis.
The side effects from the morphine was he wasn't sleeping, he wasn't eating, he wasn't all of that. But the cannabis oil, he is sleeping, he is eating.
Listen to me. You're asking, is it halal to use these things? That's all you're asking.
Yeah.
We don't have the story of somebody cancelled an answer. Is it allowed for me to use those things? Okay, for if I need to use them? That's the question. You are under the impression that those families of cocaine and opium and morphine and all of that, they come under the category of alcohol. They don't. It's a totally different category. Alcohols is something else. This is called, you could call them poison things, you could call them, make you, for example, makes you not intoxicated, it makes you dizzy. Dizzy.
Drowsy.
Value, huh? Yes.
Drowsy.
Drowsy. This is under the rule is that it is halal unless proved otherwise. Not like the alcohol. Alcohol is a drop of it which does not really affect you. If you drink it, haram. Even it's not going to harm you. One drop, not going to harm you. It's like poison things. So if, for example, now I say to the fish, you know the fish, everything in the sea is halal. But is it true that you eat everything in the sea? You know that's fish which are poisonous, you know that. So is this poisonous fish halal? Well, if I'm going to take the poison out and eat that fish, no problem. It's like 100%. If I take half of the poison out and the last poison, I'm a strong man, and that poison does nothing, no problem. You know the antidotes of snake bites is from where? Poisonous snake. So we use a poisonous snake in such a quantity to give it to the person so that he would develop immunization against the what? Snake bite. So that usage of that poison is absolutely not just halal in that case, compulsory. So morphine, which I had it, not smoking it, no, I had it, it was an accident. I didn't inhale it, but I had an injection because I had an accident. I had morphine. And I remember myself in the ambulance, he said, I gave him 8. He's telling the other guy, there's 2 nurses, I gave him 8. If you're in pain, I said, I'm in pain, I'm got used to it, give me 12. And they were laughing their head off. I got used to it, give me 12 please. We never had a patient like this. It was an accident. So, usages of those things is sake of getting high. You understand me? Alright? It's no problem. You know, getting high? You know, be high. Top of the moon. There's a, hang on a second, I haven't finished. There is one thing that we Arabs put something in our food, especially in the cakes. Allah help me. Nutmeg. Nutmeg. Nutmeg, if you eat from it a lot, you know, it's like cocaine. It's well known. So what we use a bit of it on the cake, it makes it so nice. Okay? Who uses nutmeg here? Don't worry, no. I'll find it. Nutmeg here. Where do you use it? In the cakes?
In the sweets, yeah.
In the sweets, yeah. All the sweets. Anybody use nutmeg?
Sometimes in the tea.
Pakistan use curry, maybe. Use curry in the sweets, maybe. So, nutmeg. You know what's nutmeg? Google it, please. Google it. Google it. See it. Nutmeg's amazing.
It's very nice in the tea.
Huh?
Very nice in the tea.
In the tea. Very beautiful, I know it. I know, but if you do it in your tongue, you know that. It gets you high. Further. You have a question, Khalid? You finished?
So the substance does make him high though.
Okay. It makes them high because they want to get the pain out or to get the sleep, or what is it?
It's for the pain, for everything, for the cancer, but it does make him high.
What is his intention?
Obviously, his intention is not to get high. His intention is
No
to,
problem.
Okay, alright, that's fine.
Do you understand? It's no problem.
Yeah,
I'm asking, don't you get high sometimes on getting some normal medicines? Ask me. In Hajj, I'm coming back from Masjid in Mina, and I had a fever, very big fever, hot temperature, and you know, walking is a big, massive distance, about 6 miles. I'm walking, and I'm walking. And doing the, so this person, he said, "I've got you something." So he got some water, and he dropped into it 2 tablets, shh, like this, and I drank them. I'm drying them. And I started walking. After 5 minutes, brothers, I'm feeling I'm flying now. I'm flying. What's happening to me, mashallah? Wallahi, I got some energy I never thought I had it before. And they were laughing their head off. This is sulfadine's called. You know, this is a tablet. They can have more, please. So I can have it later on when I get. So it actually took away the pain. And I'm not getting to go and to forget my, you know, sort of pain and all of these depressions. No, I'm using it for something which is for my illness. It's no problem, inshallah. It's not alcohol. Alcohol is not allowed at all. If it's being mixed in such a way that it does not get you drunk, it's halal. So if you find it in the coughing medicine and it does not get you drunk if you drink too much of it, then it's halal. But to make it haram. I'm going to make it, I'm going to put medicine, and then I'm going to put alcohol. Start mixing. Putting the alcohol is haram. But if it's been done for me by somebody ex-dead wine, and it's on the shelf, I would read. How much is the quantity? Does it make me drunk or not? If I'm not sure, don't drink it. But most of the medicines for coughing, you know that they are got what? Very hard to find one without alcohol. Get the one which says it does not get you drowsy. Not drowsy medicine. If it does not drowsy medicine, it means the alcohol percentage is so little. Any question? Sheikh,
regarding the punishment of Allah